This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glyn Lavender.
Hi, and welcome to episode 510 of Shutters Inc. This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com. And joining us once again, almost out of lockdown from creativephotoworkshops.com.au, it is Mr. Glyn Lavender. What is that?
Shut up, bloody penguins. Shush. Oh, it's cold out here, Bruce. Cold. Bloody penguins have moved into my bedroom. It's that cold.
It's
Shush.
cold here too.
Oh, it's even cold in Queensland.
It's snowing in the Blue Mountains, which is only 100 kilometres from here.
It's
But it's probably snowing closer to Melbourne than it is to me, so...
I don't know. Actually, I think it's missing us. I think all that the actual snow stuff is actually...
Oh, really?
Yeah, the real cold.
It's not missing us, I can tell you that.
Because up where it would be snowing for us is 7 degrees. So, you know,
okay.
Yeah, not real cold.
No, right.
But in fact, yeah, I shouldn't really be bleating. It's only 8 here. You know? Yeah. Actually, no, my thing says 12, but it feels like 8. Yeah, it feels like mine. It's been a chilly. We've got winds down here like crazy. Have you got the winds up there too?
No, it's not.
No, we're going to be losing trees tonight. I think it's absolutely nuts out there.
Just for those international listeners, we are talking centigrade, not Fahrenheit.
Yeah, and we're also talking Australian cold, not the cold that maybe you guys get.
Not European cold.
You know, so if a Queenslander comes down to Victoria, they bring a warm jacket because it's 28 degrees Celsius and it's really cold for them, you know. They have their air conditioners. They have their heaters. No, their air conditioners. They have their air conditioners set for like 25 degrees.
That's right.
In winter, I have my heater set for 20. So I mean, you can see there's a disparity in what we call cold and they call cold, and what we call cold, probably what you would call cold.
Yep.
Because having spent a winter in minus 40 plus is not minus 40 plus. How do you do that? If it's minus 40 and lesser, so towards the coldest I got down to minus 48. So minus 40.
Is that Fahrenheit or centigrade?
Centigrade.
Yeah, right. That's cold.
So is it minus 40 plus? Or is it minus 40 and then minus some more?
Yeah, I think it's minus a bit more.
Because here, it's going to go 30 plus degrees. It's going to go up. It's above 30, but you can't go minus plus because that doesn't make an awful lot of sense. Yeah. I have to ask my 14-year-old or 13-year-old daughter. She's better at those math equations where x equals 3. She might know how you do minus plus at the same time.
I used to know how to convert centigrade to Fahrenheit, but I've forgotten the formula.
Well, minus.
I think it's something
40.
like 5/9 of the centigrade value and then subtract 32.
Yeah, but when you get down to like that cold, minus 40 is much colder than minus 40 Fahrenheit. It's much colder than minus 40 centigrade.
Oh yes.
So it flips the other way once you get to a certain point.
Okay.
So instead of being 45 here and being like 100 in Fahrenheit, it's in pluses. If it was minus 45 Celsius, it's like minus 100 Celsius.
Right.
No, it'd be like minus Fahrenheit. It'd be like minus 70 or something.
Right.
Fahrenheit. It goes the other way anyway. Let's put it that way.
Anyway, this week on the weather podcast.
That's the weather channel. Well, we might as well talk about that, but nothing photography-wise to talk about, do we? We didn't record last week, did we?
We did not.
Do you know why?
Because
I'll tell the listeners. Because
couldn't
Bruce said, do you want to record? And I said, here's my one topic for the night. Photography is dead. Discuss.
Why is photography dead, Mr. Lavender?
Oh, it's just having a bad week.
Right. Okay.
It is dead anyway.
Okay.
I mean, it's dead as far as all people seem to do is just do what other people have done.
Yeah.
They just do the same over and over and over and over and over and over and over. I went to this place and did the same photos that other guy did, but my temp was blue.
Right.
Really turned it up.
Maybe you need to broaden the scope of the work that you hunt out and look at.
Well, you reckon I should look for yellow tents?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I meant.
Everything that comes across my feed, even people I don't know, it's just so everything is so damn derivative.
Yeah.
Everything is just copy. Everything is just, if I see another, and this is not having to dig at you, if I see another bloody Red Riding Hood in a forest photo,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm starting to barrack for the wolf. That's what I'm saying, right? I'm thinking, can you take down the photographers? I mean, everything is, it's just like, I just don't know. It's painting by numbers.
Yeah.
You get your box and they supply the paints, they supply the etched out thing with the numbers, and you colour in the number they say.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I feel as though photography is now, and it's a reflection of the ease with which it is now, available to produce content, is going through the same thing that music went through 30 years ago. Hang a sec. That's the 90s? Yeah.
Okay, just checking out.
Yeah.
See, when someone says 30 years ago, I'm still thinking of the 70s. So I just had to double check on that. Okay.
No, just, as the technology enabled more people to get involved in the creation of music in their bedrooms, where computers got to the ability to capture audio, and sound cards got better and microphones got cheaper, and suddenly you didn't have to go into a $2,000 a day recording studio to actually make a record. You could do it at home. This created a glut of content musically, and the same sort of thing happened. You had a lot of bedroom artists who were just trying to replicate what they'd heard their favourite artists do. And I feel like we are now seeing the same thing in photography, where photography has become so much more accessible to the masses through cheaper phones and, cheaper cameras and phones that have cameras on them. And those, cameras have got better and better over the years. And so you're seeing more people creating content and, as you say, derivative of the people who came before them who were masters of the art. I feel like there's a correlation between those two things.
Yeah, but see, the problem with the music was that it was curated only by record company executives who had no interest in music, and all they wanted to do was make money.
Yep.
So they either went out and found bands that sounded like the one that was selling at the moment, or they made bands.
Correct.
That created the same sound, and it's still going on today. Record companies control what the sound is, as garbage as it may be.
Yep.
No one's out there curating the photography. This is their own fault.
Yeah.
This is their own individual artists doing. And I'm not saying I'm any better. Well, my is derivative too. My garbage. I've been taking an original freaking photo in my life. Which is probably why I'm not that enamoured with photography. But I
think you have plenty of fans who would argue against that.
Yeah, but then also if they look, they go, "Oh yeah, that's the same everyone else did." There's nothing different, unique, or interesting about that. As I said, the only I did a live talk. I was supposed to go to a camera club this week or last week and talk. Yeah, and because of COVID lockdown, we're still on lockdown for those people who want to know. Yeah, couldn't go, so I did a Zoom one. And afterwards, there's 10 or 15 of them hang around, and we just sort of chatted. And a woman asked us a question. She goes, "Have you only ever wanted to photograph people?" I said, "Well, no, it's not necessarily only ever, but at some point it became people." And I think then it honed down almost to just the faces. Yeah, unless what the scene was something. And I didn't put then I sort of put two and two together at the time, which I'd never really thought about before. And I said, because everything in photography is so damn derivative and everything is so boring and everything, there's only one person with that face. Yeah. Yeah, okay, except he's got identical twins. And but within reason, there's 8 billion people on the planet. Yeah. There's 8 billion. Okay, the composition's going to look the same. The lighting, all that other boring stuff's going to be the same. Yeah. But at least the main subject content is different. Yeah. Yeah, from shot to shot to shot to shot, And maybe that's the only thing that keeps me in photography. Yeah. If the chance to photograph another, if I had to go do landscapes, I mean, where are you going to go that hasn't been tented with someone with a torch pointing at the Milky Way to death? Really? Yeah. It's like, and look, I'm sure they don't listen. I hope. Well, no, I can't. I've been not in case they listen. They wouldn't listen.
Who?
Would they listen, Bruce?
Who?
So I got up this morning early, like 6 o'clock this morning. That's early, especially in lockdown. Yeah. To listen to I won't mention. Okay, I won't mention it in to listen to a podcast,
Right.
from the United States. Not a podcast. It was a live stream. It was a webinar. It was a webinar for their best customers, their VIPs, shall we say?
Right.
And the content was, to me, aimed at a level like 4 below where these people, if these people are your best customers and you're in the photo business, you're kind of assuming, because they've obviously got a lot of your gear, that they're at a certain level or at least a reasonable amount of experience.
Yeah.
And the content wasn't even catering for that. I'm not even sure I'm even going with this, but this is all I'm being dealt with at the moment. It's just stuff that, whether we're just not targeting the right people, we're not thinking deeply about stuff ourselves, we're not reaching to ourselves enough to try and find the difference.
Yeah.
But if you as a photographer are happy going out and photographing yourself pointing a torch at the Milky Way in the same spot 400 other people have pointed torches at the Milky Way, you've got that shot now. But 399 other people have got it too.
Yeah. Let me put an idea to you.
No,
Do you think there is a possibility that over the last, I don't know what we're up to now, 17, 18 months of the pandemic, that the people who had the skills haven't been shooting as much as they used to? You self-admitted the same. And those people who don't have the level of skill that you have aren't getting out to do workshops like they would have pre-COVID. And so maybe the whole quality of output over the last 18 months has maybe slipped a bit. Maybe.
No.
I don't know.
Nah, because the people go to the workshops to learn how to point the torch at the Milky Way. I'm dead serious.
Right.
That people are hosting workshops to take you out and how to light up a tent from the inside, right. how to get where to align your Milky Way so you can then point your torch at it.
Right.
How to do the triggering so you can be in a shot and trigger your.
Yeah. Right.
So no, I don't think that's not going to wash. Because that crap was all there beforehand. Okay. And I felt the same way beforehand as well.
Fair enough. I was trying to give you a lifeline, mate.
Yeah, but why do we want to do this? And I was talking at the same club talk last week. I said, if you go and search up Mr. Wu and cormorant fisherman,
okay,
right?
Yeah,
you will come up with about 500. I've never tried it; it might not work at all. 500 shots of this man called Mr. Wu in China,
right,
on his boat, with it holding a lantern,
right,
with his Chinese hat on,
yeah.
And with a cormorant on either on his arm or at the front of the boat with his mountains in the background.
Yeah.
And possibly some sort of commentary like Mr. Wu's 5th generation cormorant fisherman.
Right.
Was just returning from his day fishing his catch.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Wu hasn't fished, his family probably hasn't fished for 20 years.
Yeah.
I just Googled it up and said there's 1, there's 2,
because he's making
three,
a living out of charging tourists to take a photo of him in his boat.
Okay, there's only 5. There's only 5 that's come up because probably people didn't put Mr. Wu. If I take out Mr. Wu,
yeah,
and just put cormorant
fisherman,
China.
Yeah.
There he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. The first 30 are him.
Right.
All different. The front page of The Guardian. He's won. Mr. Wu's won several international photo competitions that I've seen. Mr. Wu doesn't fish. You walk up to Mr. Wu and you give him $20 or 40. It's probably gone up in price now since he won some world things. But if you were to go to this spot, pay Mr. Wu his $40. Here he is, National Geographic, cormorant fisherman. Pay him his $40, so it's probably up to 100. Who knows?
Yeah.
And you get a cracking picture.
Yep.
Is it going to do anything for you?
Well,
other than try and get you fame and notoriety, but is it actually going to satisfy the soul of the creative?
I don't know, Maybe.
Or is it just like the person who goes there and has a phenomenal art of copying the grandmasters? So he paints, all the Da Vinci's and
Rembrandts.
all these things to perfection, and sells them. But surely, if you've got that talent, surely you're not satisfied with just recreating that same thing over and over again.
You wouldn't think so, no.
You wouldn't think that. I can understand it, financially why he's doing it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people photograph Mr. Wu. He's a stock photo there, Mr. Wu, in this one.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I've watched Thai photographic groups and tours.
Right.
Sit up for hours setting up a scene, crafting where the boats are, where the this is, where that element is, bringing the smoke machine in, waiting for the time of day, getting the characters, doing them up, changing the clothes, all this stuff for hours to craft, and then working for hours on the Photoshop of that shot to make it look like they've done a natural travel photo.
Yeah, right.
And, I set up shots all the time on tour, all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time, a couple of times a day.
Yeah.
Because you have to, because not everyone's got the ability to capture that kind of shot, and they're looking to. So I get it.
Yeah, there's a spontaneity
but where's the reward?
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. So photography is dead. Discuss. Yeah,
I guess to play devil's advocate, there's always going to be tourists who either go on a photo tour or are at least on holiday and find themselves in the presence of a Mr. Wu who, is quite happy to...
Hang on a sec. Wait. His name's not Mr. Woohoo. It's just Mr. Wu.
Who is prepared to construct a contrived, image for the benefit of the paying customer. And those people are probably content to take that contrived photo, even though they know that, the family that was there half an hour before them got the same shot, and the family that's going to be there half an hour after them is going to get the same shot, give or take the changes in light, because it at least gives them a cracker of an image that might be better than what they are normally capable of shooting with their own skill set, that they will be able to look back on years later, and it will take them back to that time and place. So it has that benefit for them as a trigger to, latch onto those memories. As contrived as the photograph might be, it serves another purpose.
Totally agree.
Okay.
But that's tourists, not photographers.
Sure. Okay. Well,
if you're an amateur happy snapper and you're just taking some shots, I get that's fine. Do whatever you want. That's all good and dandy. But if you're aspiring to be the art side of photography, that's what's drawing you is. And half of these Mr. Woos are taken by bloody good photographers because you can tell by the lighting. And they set them up, not Mr. Woo. Mr. Woo hasn't got a clue. Yeah. It's Mr. Woo clue. No clue. And Mr. No Clue Woo. I can never remember which one comes first when you say Chinese names. Yeah. They've got the skills.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would set it up probably. Yeah, I'll probably set the same shot as well.
So let me run with that then. For the photographers, many of them don't have the skills of a Glyn Lavender at this moment in time, and maybe
they never will do. They never will.
Maybe not, but maybe that's part of their learning process. Is okay. I need to go out with someone who is a master, who understands light, who understands composition, who understands lens choices, who can teach me these skills. And yes, I'm going to take some contrived shots in the process, but part of that is just the doing. It's the racking up the 10,000 hours, and some of it is going to be guided by somebody else. And yes, you're going to take a lot of work that's derivative of stuff that was shot before. This is the whole Helsinki bus terminal analogy all over again. But that's part of the learning process.
No, it's not. Because here's the thing, though.
But people have to learn somehow.
But they don't learn. They line up and press the button. How is that learning?
Okay.
They don't ask questions. They don't ask if they can set it up themselves. They don't attempt to set up the shot and then ask for advice.
Well, maybe they don't at the point of doing the workshop.
And again, all fine and good. Based on your theory, no problem with them doing any of that. But it's then what they do with that image after, where they pretend it's real.
Yeah.
They submit it for awards.
For photo competitions.
Yeah, and strut around like, I did this.
Yeah.
And again, that's fine too. I've got no problem with that either. But where's the nourishment?
Yeah.
How does that nourish your soul as a photographer? How does that give you joy? I look at my photos on the wall and go, take it down, Glenn. I've only got one photo of mine on the wall, and I've only got that for when I do these Zoom calls. It's got something in the background.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't have a single photo I've ever taken up, or even probably printed, or hardly anything even printed.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It's not because they're all shit. I'm sick of seeing them.
But I guarantee your wife and your kids aren't.
Oh, they don't care. Yeah, maybe I'll cobble them all together in a book for them. For when I'm dead, they can just flick through them. Yeah, he did those. Look, all the fucking same. Look at that, every shot. No, I'm not sure where his nourishment was doing that all the time. Yeah, all he did the same crap over and over again. How in the hell do you satisfy himself doing that?
Okay.
You know? But
I still maintain that everyone learns at their own pace, and part of developing the skills is doing some derivative work so you come to understand the principles. And to go back to what you were saying about, they don't ask to set it up themselves. I think most people, if they're in a workshop situation, they are going to understand that time constraints are against them being able to set it up themselves during the workshop. They have to take it on board, what's being taught to them on the day, and remember that stuff so that later on in their own time, with their own gear, in their own place, with their own model, they can go and attempt to recreate that. And hopefully, if what they were shown and, had explained to them has stuck, they will then be able to recreate it. And in the process of doing that in their own time, in their own place, with their own model and their own gear, they're going to make some stuff-ups, and then they're going to understand why it's stuffed up. And then they're going to develop that particular skill. And it's just an iterative process.
I agree. Are you ready for it?
But yeah.
That's a 2-hour workshop. What about a 14-day tour?
Oh, yeah, okay. I still think
14 days, Bruce.
Yeah, I know, but you know
19.
what it's like when you've got, whether it's a model or whether it's someone you corralled on the streets of Karachi or wherever you happen to be, you don't always have hours and hours and hours for everyone to, finesse that shot.
Depends how much you're paying Mr. Wu. How long he gives you for his $40.
Fair enough. Okay.
But
yeah.
Still no problem with any of that. It's what they do afterwards.
Well,
with
I don't
that
think
image.
you can speak for every client you've taught. Some
I
of
can
them
speak for everybody on the planet, dude. Come on, if you don't know me that well by now. No, I'm not. But the ones you can comment on are the ones that you see entered. You can see National Geographic travel photography competition. In National Geo was Mr. Wu with his frickin' cormorants.
Yeah. I suppose it's no different to the stilt fishermen of Sri Lanka.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I'd like to shoot as well,
So would I. And I was there and I didn't do it.
But do it yourself. Make them stand on their heads rather than their feet. Do something different. Have them casting towards land rather than out of the water.
Yeah.
The catching the fisherman to pay $20. No, but it's just, this is what I mean about photography's dead.
Yeah.
Is what's out there is so
homogenized.
Black and white photos with red roses. Spot
don't
colour.
get me started on that crap.
But this is what we're doing now. Red Riding Hood in the forest is spot colour. I'm sorry, but it is. Because you go on Google again now and do Red Riding Hood forest photo shoot. Look how many come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one ever does, like, Hansel and Gretel in the forest,
True.
same forest, you know.
Yeah.
No one ever does. You know, is it because it's a hot young girl? Probably,
Yeah.
you know. No one ever photographs Grandma. Yeah, they photograph Red Riding Hood all the time. Grandma's completely, and she's about to be dead. Get a last shot in, for God's sake, you know. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
a friend of mine was looking for ideas. She photographs the elderly,
Right.
and she was looking for a tagline for her business, trying to ramp up her business. And her son came up with "I shoot old people," which, yeah, somewhat a bit mean, you'd have to say, just a bit, you know. So I came up with a couple.
Yeah.
Well, coffin shots has always been, I think, as a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But I thought last chance photos
Yeah.
was pretty good, and like sand through the hourglass.
Right.
Because, you know, your time's ticking away, you know?
Yeah.
Or just have a clock go tick, 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 you know? Mm-hmm. Get these people to feel the good. You better hope and get it done because you might not be here tomorrow. Not easy to come up with a tagline for shooting codgers.
No.
Yeah, we many years ago with Shelton, we did a shoot in an old people's home in Benalla.
Yeah.
And we named that one "Shoot a Lot of Codgers," which I thought was a
On point.
which was a great day. I still enjoyed that day very much. But unbeknownst to me, this is kind of sad. I photographed this woman. I still remember her name now, Rita. This is 12, 13 years ago. I remember. So there's two wards in this old people's home.
Right.
There's the kind of the retirement side where people need a little bit of care. Yeah, they need to have people around, sort of thing. And they were all lovely. Yeah, they were putting on the best frocks and putting the blue dye in their hair and putting the lippy on, and the women dressed up too. And they came out. We did beautiful photos of them, but in natural light portraits of them.
Yeah.
It was like we had like a group of 8, I think, shooting. I think Mr. Davidson was there from memory.
Right.
Then we went into the other ward, which is the dementia ward.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was harrowing. Yeah, it was heartbreaking and photographing. I remember, and I photographed this beautiful lady called Rita, and she wouldn't let this little baby doll go.
Right.
She everywhere she'd just hold this little baby like it's a baby. You know, really emotive picture. And then, last year when I finally got to see my mum, and she had a baby doll with her.
Right.
And everywhere, and she'd had for the last 8 or 9 months not gone anywhere without this little baby doll in her arm.
Wow.
And oh my God, just this just funny, not funny, but
Poignant.
weird connection. Mm-hmm. Yeah, at this moment, and that was the only thing that would comfort her was to have this doll.
Yeah,
and
right.
at the time when I was photographing Rita, I just thought how desperately sad. You know?
Yeah.
And then I see my mum doing it. It's like, oh, that's just soul crushing. You know? It's like just so, again, desperately sad. But then she died, so the baby didn't matter as much.
Okay.
True story. That. So photography's dead, and so is my mum. Is that what we're talking about the podcast?
Oh, there's a podcast episode title.
There's a segue away from all that stuff, isn't it?
Since 2005, Shutters Inc. has been a labour of love. But beyond the time required to produce it, there is also a financial commitment. If you find value in the podcast and would like to help keep the servers running, hit up the Patreon link, which is in the show notes. Even a couple of dollars a month will help. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
How's your week been? 2 weeks been.
It's been, interesting. Bike's back in the workshop.
Oh, they're finally getting the stuff done?
Yep. So it's all done.
By the people? Oh, it's all done. Was it done by those people who stuffed you around, or done by other people?
Same mob, yeah. So I dropped it in on Monday morning. I said, now, look, can you please tell me you're going to get it done this week because, I really need it back on the road.
Dick
and they
me
said,
around.
absolutely get done this week. And I got a text this afternoon to say it's done. So, but I already had organised to go into work late on Friday morning. So even though I, potentially could have gone tomorrow morning to pick it up, which would be Thursday, I thought, no, I'll just leave it as planned.
Yeah.
I've already told work, so I'll just catch the train tomorrow and then train it down Friday morning to Parramatta and pick up the bike and then head to work. So
finally get your bike back. What a runaround that's been, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
God.
So, yeah.
Oh.
So, but beyond that, it's all been, business as usual, cranking out the audiobooks. So, did a photo shoot 2 weeks ago.
I saw that.
Week and a half.
Oh, that's right. My other topic for last week was photography's dead. Discuss. Then it was Bruce's photos. Yeah, that was topic number 2. How'd you go? Was that a fun day out?
It was good. So the reason behind that was that Kath and Max were going to see Hamilton, and I had zero interest in seeing Hamilton. And so I thought, well, I'm going to be in Sydney and going to have 3 hours to myself on the Saturday afternoon while they're at the show. So I thought I should organise a photo shoot. So
nice.
I put a...
How very proactive of you.
Yeah, exactly. So put out a call on Facebook, and Kate, who I'd shot with before, you might remember the photos of Kate that I did. She was in that red polka dot dress out in the woods.
Oh, I think that's...
Not Red Riding Hood.
Outfit.
Not a Red Riding Hood shoot, but... But yeah, so we got together around Piermont and just did some street portraiture, and yeah, it was good. It was good to get out and shoot again.
I'm sure it would have been.
Yeah.
So how'd you go with the photos? Were you happy with them?
I was. Given that I did feel a little bit rusty, I took my...
It's weird, isn't it, trying to get back into the swing? I said only the other week, I shot for the first time in 14 months or whatever. It's kind of... feels a bit odd.
Yeah, when you've been away from it for that long, yeah. So I took my softbox, and her husband came along, so he was my voice-activated light stand.
Nice.
Which saved me having to worry about, bringing a boom stand and sandbags and all that sort of rubbish with me, which is
pain,
good.
Yeah.
So, and I got out a half CTO gel and threw that on for a few shots, and then I got experimental and put I've got this other set of filters that are just a cheap set that I bought off eBay. They were like $5 for 12 filters or something. And one of them is described as turquoise blue. It's really like a cyan. And so I threw that on just for some experimental stuff, knowing that it would, when I balanced the skin back to... regular skin tones, it would drive everything outside the fall of the flash into a real deep orange, very apocalyptic look.
Yeah.
Did a few shots like that just to experiment, and created a video for my patrons that sort of discussed that process and how I post-processed those images. And yeah, but it was good. It was just good to get out and shoot for a couple of hours,
Good on you.
Yeah. So anyway,
I would have run out of ideas, I think. No, I mean, when you're that rusty, it's hard to come up. It's hard to come up with stuff to do. So let's just be derivative and do what I always know. But even to do the stuff you always do, it's still rusty and hard to get the brain going.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So anyway,
good on you for getting out, dude.
Yeah, and then this weekend coming.
Yeah.
So Saturday morning. Okay, so in New South Wales this weekend, it's a long weekend.
It's down in Melbourne too.
Yes, but it's not in Queensland.
No.
So Saturday morning...
Which is kind of ironic.
Yes, because it's the Queen's birthday weekend. That's right. So we are flying up to Brisbane on Saturday morning, and...
That's right, you're allowed out of the house, aren't you?
We are. Yeah, Kath had already got Tuesday approved for a day off, so I asked if I could have Tuesday off as well, and that's been approved. So we're flying out of Newcastle like early, stupid o'clock on Saturday morning, so we'll be up in Brisbane in time for breakfast, just about.
Nice.
So we've got all of Saturday, all of Sunday, all of Monday, all of Tuesday, and then we fly out of Brisbane late Tuesday night. I think it's like 8 o'clock or something, get back into Newcastle just after 9 o'clock, hour and a bit to drive home. So we'll be home just after 10 o'clock Tuesday night and then back to work Wednesday. But it means we get a 4-day weekend.
Nice.
So yeah, so heading up to Brizzy, just going to hang out in the city, not doing anything super special. Just Kath's missing being able to get on an aeroplane. So that's what we're doing.
I'm missing being able to get out of the house.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, so looking forward to that.
But then again, so some hats from Melbourne
have just gone to Queensland.
via all of New South Wales for a couple of days. So some says, we don't believe in lockdown. You should lock us down. Get in the car, drive out of our state, which is not allowed to do. Drive all the way around New South Wales up into Queensland. Get to Queensland. I feel sick. We've got COVID.
Yeah.
Nice people. Johnny Grace, you just dragged it halfway around the country, you mongrels.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed it doesn't lock the borders down for you again.
Exactly.
So that would absolutely suck.
Yep.
Yeah. People are so damn selfish, you know.
Yep.
I felt like putting up a World War One soldier picture with a gas mask on. And said, this guy, we asked these people to put masks on and fight for our lives. All you got to do is put a mask on too and sit at home. It's not very hard. Just do it for a couple of... I'm going to say, this has been a damn hard lockdown. I've been bottom of the barrel depressed every day for the last 2 weeks, But you know what? Who cares? Because we've been asked to sit inside a house with your family and watch Netflix. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Suck it up, princess. Just deal with it. But no, I'm going to go travel interstate and make everyone suffer if it all goes pear-shaped, I
saw a photo on Facebook today. It was a chalkboard A-frame outside a coffee shop, and it said... Just put on the damn mask. It's not like you're being asked to wear a Collingwood jumper.
And they just lost their coach today too, which is just...
I know.
It's golden. It's golden.
What
a funny old couple of weeks.
What have we got
So I said I did a Canberra Club talk, I said last week. I'm doing another one for the Melbourne Canberra Club on June the 17th.
Right, which will be Thursday.
Next week, I think, isn't it? Yeah. So if anyone in Melbourne who's out of lockdown and wants a crappy night out, come down to the Melbourne Canberra Club,
where you too can learn to shoot derivative works.
Yeah, you too, and you too can see me pretend to be passionate. If we're not allowed to have indoor gatherings, I'll be doing another Zoom one.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to be bored in their own houses, feel free to get in touch, and I'll send you the link when I get it for the Zoom.
Nice.
Yeah. Bit of self-promotion there.
Excellent.
I'm just saying to anyone out there who's listening, if everyone to come on a tour, I'm much happier than this on tour. It's all good.
They pay me to be happy.
That's right. You pay, I smile. Funny stuff. So, towards photography, what you had a bunch of stuff I saw you sent through, did you?
I have.
What's going on there?
Okay, so the first story I came up with was, I titled it Transformative Work Fair Use? Nope. So the story goes that this female photographer who produced a book back in 1996, her name is Judy Juracek. She produced a book called Surfaces, and it came out as a hard copy book and a CD-ROM. And it was basically just pictures of textures, and what has happened is that the company that does the artwork for, Capcom, thank you.
That's right. I'm looking at the article, so it helps.
Yeah. So this company Capcom, who does all the artwork for these computer games, has used a lot of the textures off the CD-ROM. And when they bundled them with the game, they didn't even rename them. They just kept the same names as they pulled off the CD-ROM. And there was absolutely no license on the CD-ROM for commercial use. They were simply provided as, inspiration for photographers and, references and that sort of thing. And so she slapped them with a $12 million lawsuit for over 200 copyright infringements of the use of her work without permission. So it'll be interesting to see whether she gets anywhere with that and, whether it's bargained down to a lower price or what. But I thought it was interesting because in the story, this was on DIY Photography. It said, we're all familiar with this idea or this myth that if you alter a portion of an image, the image is no longer subjected to copyright laws. Crop it, scale it, change the color, modify a few pixels. Not necessarily. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes with that and whether she comes out on top, and whether or not that sends a message to the industry on a wider scale. But
you should at least change the file name.
Yeah, you would think, wouldn't you?
At the very least.
You would think so.
God.
Anyway, the next story I found was, again, from DIYphotography.net. And it was all about this Bolsa Chica Ecological Reserve in California, where what are known as elegant terns, they are a bird, nest. And these guys were flying their drones over this tern nesting ground, crashed the drones, which freaked out the terns. The drone pilots then went off the beaten track. So that's the second infringement, because they're not supposed to be flying drones inside this ecological area anyway, and then they're not meant to be going off the beaten track because you damage the habitat. And, when I went off to retrieve their crashed drones, and in the process, all the terns got absolutely freaked out and abandoned 1,500 eggs that they had been incubating. So, a bit of an ecological disaster. Yeah.
I had a debate with someone in Western Australia a month or so ago, 6 weeks ago, about this exact same thing.
Right.
And she was doing a rant on Facebook about somebody flew their drone over a pelican colony there whilst they're on their eggs, and how they're irresponsible and blah, blah, on and on and on, and you'll frighten all the birds away. And I said, well, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, because, airborne predators of birds and their babies, I would imagine, is a fairly common threat.
Yeah, and probably has been so for a couple of millennia.
Eagles, hawks, stuff's coming down for their entire history of the species. They've been airborne and landborne. I've watched David Attenborough show these things, so it's true, because he's the man,
He's the man.
Or he's a man. He's a man. And then to argue further to this woman's point is, I pointed out how the Department of Conservation used drones to fly over these colonies to count the eggs and the birds in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some disparity there between the fear-mongering of...
Yeah.
And I find it bizarre that a drone crashes into the ground in a place where people are allowed to walk. I've read the article. You're allowed to walk there, but you're not allowed to ride bikes, not allowed to have dogs, you're not allowed to fly drones.
Yeah.
So they're not unused to seeing people there. And I would imagine they're not unused. So I don't know why all these birds would have disappeared.
I wonder how low they were flying the drones.
How low does the eagle come down to swoop one of your chicks?
Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying it seems to be a strange... I'm not saying it did. That's not what caused it. I'm just saying I don't understand why that would have caused it.
Fair enough.
I don't understand why the birds would have been that frightened that they would go against their instinct, all of them, as opposed to a small area of them. Because we've all seen birds take off, fly around a bit, and they come back and land.
Yep.
We've all been swooped by magpies, how protective they are of their eggs and their nests.
Sure.
That to leave for what, let's say, was a 15-minute incident, let's say, who knows, but they might have been buzzing up and down for 2 hours, I don't know. Yeah. But it's just still saying, I don't know, it's still, I don't quite get it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And also, I'm not saying, I don't get why the birds wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand what was the disconnect? What was the break that made that happen? To that point. Yeah. Who knows? But it is odd. You know, in and of itself. But yeah, told people with drones again. Yeah, you know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
Don't get COVID and drive through 2 different states when you shouldn't be.
Totally.
They're probably up there with their drones. Probably go, there's some rare birds nesting. Let's drive 2 states with COVID so we can fly our drones over them. Yeah, we kill 2 birds with 1 stone, as they say. No,
with 1 drone.
Kill 2 birds with 1 drone. That's terrible. Anyway, next.
The next one is that Google has just rolled out an update to their Pixel 4 and Pixel 5 phones, which now allows the ability to shoot time lapses at night on your Pixel 4 and Pixel 5 phones. So you can create little animated GIFs out of, multiple frames of your astrophotography. So there's a lot of people pretty excited about that. Yeah.
I've been able to do time lapses on my phone for like 8 years.
Okay.
There's a million apps out there you can do. Once again, not saying it's not fantastic.
There probably were third-party apps that would do it as well for Android, but what I'm saying is that this is Google's official camera app for the phone.
Once again, Apple's had that for 5 years in their iOS.
Okay.
And I can only imagine they stole it from Android. Because that's what Apple do. So yeah, that just bring out a better version. The only thing I can see is when they say using their night sight, so that sort of enhanced, like multi HDR layering of photo.
Yep.
But it doesn't seem like a great leap forward. The technology, the night sight technology, is a great leap forward.
Right.
But the fact of being able to string 10 of them in a row or whatever doesn't seem that it should have been that hard to make happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I've been fairly argumentative this episode.
So unlike you, Glenn.
Is it really? Really?
In the same update, Google has also included a new locked folder in Google Photos. So if you do take any photos that you don't want people to see, you can move your photos to this locked folder, and it basically restricts the ability to access those images. So, if you've got things you want to keep hidden.
Apps that have been available for years.
Again.
Yeah, that's where I keep all my porn.
Yeah, there you go.
No one keeps porn on their phone, Bruce. It's available on the internet for free. Why would you do? Whilst we're talking phone, because I must have dropped one of my ones in there too, is iOS 15, the new Apple operating system is about to come out, and I'm sure this is also a feature available everywhere else, but who knows, it's not what I've seen. You can now take a photo of writing on a blackboard, and then cut and paste it like text and paste it into a Word document,
right,
and it translates into text.
Yeah, so Android's had that for a couple of years.
See, that's just Apple's just to make it good.
Yeah.
So as I said, nothing new under the sun, Bruce.
That's right. Fuji was recently hacked by some ransomware, and the hackers said, this is what it's going to cost you to get all your data back, and Fuji said, blow it out your butt. We've got backups, and we will restore our servers from our backups. Thank you very much. See you later. And did not pay a cent to the hackers.
I'd be interested to know what parts of their... I'm assuming that are they holding user data? They wouldn't be holding user images, I wouldn't have thought.
It just said that the company writes that the impact of the unauthorized access is confined to a specific network in Japan. That's as much detail as they've given us. So hard to know. Could you imagine
if it was online photo storage in that time between their last backup and the ransomware attack? Who knows how many people have uploaded their photos and that's their only copies. So, yeah, you can imagine in some instances that could be a really big impact. If it's simply internal who knows what, then it might not have such a big, But it's an interesting tactic to take, to say no. I mean, you have to say no. You can never pay any sort of kidnappers anything because it's never going to work out well. But...
No.
You
plus
have to be
plus
very
you're
certain.
Inviting being hit again.
Yeah, by bigger, badder people. They're thinking that it was our evil being blamed for it, or at least their software has been. So someone's got a hold of our evil software and used part of that to attack the system. So you don't be very, very, very confident that what they got access to is not going to cause significant problems if they actually do release it.
Right.
Because imagine you've invented a new type. Now, Fuji do all sorts of different types of business, not just photo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say they're in medical research.
Yeah.
And they've got a cure for a type of cancer almost developed.
Yeah.
And the ransomware gives people access to that. Yeah, all of a sudden you're talking trillions of dollars of potential business
Yeah.
could go out the window if it gets put out into open domain. Yeah. So they'd want to be very, very, because this happened, was it 2 months ago in America, the ransomware attack on the oil pipeline,
Right.
and they paid the ransom.
Yeah.
The oil pipeline, because they had to shut down the oil, the petrol, and people were for weeks without fuel in parts of America.
Right.
And they paid the ransom. The ransomware was taken away, but then one of the US wings of their cyber security, because they got paid in Bitcoin.
Right.
They went in, snuck into the system somehow, and dragged back most of that company's money.
Yeah, right.
These cyber terrorists. So he said it's certainly seems to be becoming more prevalent.
Yeah.
And probably going to be a fairly big problem going forward.
Definitely.
That's the thing with things like these Bitcoins and this cryptocurrency where it's pretty hard to trace. You would imagine a lot of the stuff that's so encrypted that it opens up a whole new opportunities for these sort of people.
Definitely.
Anyway.
Remember a couple of months ago we featured some videos of drone fly-throughs. There was the one of the bowling alley and I can't remember what the others were now, but this absolutely epic fly-through drone footage. Well, the team that did that, I think it's the same team, has done a fly-through of a wedding in progress. Now, I've watched the whole thing. It goes for about 2 or 3 minutes. It's absolutely amazing drone piloting. Flies right through this reception center, through all of the rooms, up and down staircases. It is just amazing. And it's obviously all been choreographed down to the nth degree.
Yeah.
But it just looks amazing. It is so good. Definitely worth watching. So, put the link in the show notes for anyone who wants to check that out.
Good stuff.
Now, Paul Sutton sent us a couple of stories. One was on petapixel.com, and this was all about the fastest mass-produced lens that's ever been released, which was a Voigtlander 29mm f/0.8 lens. So, I haven't had a chance to watch the video because I only got this story today. What was the big huff for?
Well, thanks, Paul. I mean, good on you. I appreciate it. My huff and puff was the guy who's doing the article.
Right.
So, okay, let me propose this to you. He wants to do some portraits of this lens at 0.8.
Okay.
What kind of background do you think you'd want to showcase?
Something that you want to blur out.
That you'd be able to see what the blur looks like?
Yeah.
Something that shows the beautiful bouquet of flowers?
Yeah.
What did he use?
I don't know.
Solid backgrounds. He's shot in a studio.
Yeah.
Solid background.
Yep.
He's shot with studio lights.
Yeah.
So he's not showing off the low light capabilities.
Yeah, but he's shooting photos of the lens. He's not shooting with
No.
lens.
He's got all these stacks of photos of these women in front of solid backgrounds with studio lights.
Right.
I know he's not photographing the lens. Oh, gross.
Well, I hadn't scrolled as far down the story as you had.
You better leave that bit in, Bruce, because I might even check the podcast this week to see if you leave that bit in.
All the photographs
so it's photographing
of the lens.
a solid background with the studio lighting. So it doesn't demonstrate the low light capabilities. It doesn't demonstrate the bokeh.
Oh.
It does demonstrate the fall off of depth of field.
Yeah.
Which he reckons is pretty good. I don't know. I'd really want these to be straight out of camera shots.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's really hard to kind of gauge.
Yeah.
Cool lens. I just wish the guy maybe used
it to effect. Yeah.
Yeah, just to show, or keep these ones in, but show us some other ones.
Because they don't look like they're shot at 0.8.
Well, I would think not.
No.
Yeah, but he's saying he's shooting between 0.8 and 8.
Yeah. Yeah, so f4, f5.6.
Yeah, so maybe I just would like to see a broader range of images that maybe showcase different elements of what this guy thinks this lens is special about,
Yeah.
whether it's the post-processing or the lens, but the colour is interesting. So it's the colour reproduction, but once again, that's so hard to tell unless you shoot it yourself. Whether whether it's camera settings, whether it's light, But it's. And I'm not going to read the article because Paul's not hasn't listened to this podcast long enough to realise that shit just doesn't happen. But he's a photographer, director, editor, and cinematographer based in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
I just would like to have seen.
I agree with you. All of the portraiture doesn't really play to the strengths of the lens at all.
Yeah, and I said the fall off to depth of field looks lovely. Yeah. The photos are lovely. Nothing wrong with the photo. It just doesn't necessarily teach me much about the lens.
Yeah.
Is my least argumentative response.
And the other story that Paul sent us was about another lens, but this one was not mass-produced, but even wider.
One for NASA.
Maximum aperture. This was a very rare Zeiss 50mm f/0.7 lens that was made for NASA, and they only built 10 of them. And one of them is going up for sale, and they expect it to pull somewhere in the vicinity of $146,000, presumably that's US dollars. Why they would choose 146,000, I don't know. Why they wouldn't say 145 or 150, but
who's selling it?
I'm just looking at that. The 38th Lights Photographica auction is set to offer.
The reason it's 146,000 is because it's not being sold in America. It's been sold probably in Germany. And let's say it's however many euro is what they expected. Let's say they anticipated to go to 100,000 euro.
Right.
And then they've converted that to American dollars and hence the bizarre. I agree. It's a very bizarre price, but that was the only explanation I can think of.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And of course, makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
So anyway.
I've got a suggestion though.
Yeah.
The guy from the last lens, which is talked about, he should get one of these and photograph people in studio backgrounds as well and see how
see how it compares.
Yeah, we really shouldn't be, because Paul's the only person to send stuff in, so we should.
That's right.
Thank you. We're not picking on Paul. Good on you, Paul. Please send us stuff. We need content like crazy. We're too lazy to find it ourselves.
That's it. So what have you got on your list?
Oh, nothing really worth talking about, probably. Nothing. I've got one thing, three things that might be of moderate interest.
Right.
And I'll go from least interesting to slightly less least interesting. How's that?
Okay.
If you ever wanted to know how to do an NFT, how to mint an NFT, you've been thinking about delving that space, there's a good article there on how to mint NFTs for photographers.
Okay. And I believe it'll cost you around about $75 US to mint an NFT.
No.
No?
That's not how it works. No.
I was listening to a podcast today where he was saying that that's what it cost him.
Well, he's wrong. Yeah, that might cost him that one time, but it's different every time.
Okay.
And it's different at different times of the day.
Okay. Fair enough.
So it's how much energy is needed to generate to mint the system, and energy prices are different at different times of the day, and energy costs are different in different places. So there's all these weird things.
Look, halfway down the story, Wingfield said gas fees are very common and waiver often. The minting fee for Cosmo Firma costs $75. There you go.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
What if you can get it for $30 and they're charging you $75?
Oh, I don't know.
Because it varies all the time.
Right.
So if you if you follow the advice on how to mint, but don't use a firm if they're giving you a fixed fee, I guarantee you they're not minting them when they're $300 to have it minted.
Yeah,
they wait until it's $30 and making $45 on each one of them.
Yeah.
So you can get it minted cheaper than $75. I'm just going to say that much.
Okay, fair enough.
So NFTs, boring.
Yep.
Nick software. I'm releasing the Nick version 4.
Oh, okay.
The Nick Silver Effects Pro, their black and white software, is without that the absolute best black and white software in the world I've ever used.
Yep.
I've never seen better black and whites. No, I don't use it anymore. I don't have Nick software anymore. But I don't think I've done one decent black and white that I've loved since.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I use Nick software, love the black and whites. Never been happy with black and white since. So if you love a good black and white, it's worth buying the entire program. just for their black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the last thing was, you know what a cyanotype is?
Yeah.
This music video this musician, has just released a music video where the entire thing is done with cyanotypes. So they've animated the entire video with cyanotypes, hand printed.
You've posted the same link under Capture One and cyanotype. Can you send me?
Okay, so what you're looking for is the actual link. Is that what you're saying to me?
That would be handy.
Well, that seems like you're asking me to do an extra lot of work.
It probably seems like that, but it's really not.
Well, yeah. You asked me if to do the first bit of work properly. Is this more in tune of what you're trying to say to me? But I watched part of it and I thought, my God, that is it's pretentious and ridiculous and over the top, but fabulous.
So what is it? Is it a music video?
It's a music video, like a 3-minute long music video, where every frame is a hand-printed cyanotype image.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep. I found the link on
animate
DP review.
You got it?
Yep.
I'll give you a link then. There you go. You've done the work for me. Just like I like it. But how incredible is that? You know, that the amount of work involved is staggering.
So how did they shoot it?
Well, they would have photographed it, I was assuming, with film.
Right.
Shot, and then developed and
processed
printed them
every
as
frame as a
cyanotypes.
cyanotype.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And then rephotographed every frame or scanned every frame and then animated it.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
So that was worth having a bit of a look at because it's epic amount of work, if nothing else.
Yeah, totally. So what was the Capture One story?
Oh, I can't even remember now. Oh, they're bringing Capture One out on iPad.
Oh, okay.
So for those who like
there'll
Capture
be some
One,
people who'll be keen to hear about that.
but I wasn't keen to talk about it.
For those who care, early 2022, allegedly.
Yeah,
So,
allegedly.
Yeah.
Got to keep up with Apple, though, I guess, and with Adobe, I should say.
Yeah.
If Adobe's got all this stuff out for iPads now, I guess they've got to
Everyone's got to keep
do
up.
the right thing. Because I mean, everything's shifting that sort of way. Like the new Apple M1 computers are kind of a hybrid between an iPad and a computer, the way they process information and the way they run apps and stuff like that. So,
right. And do you have a device with an M1 chip in it?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, right. And is it good?
It's awesome. Brilliant.
Okay.
Super fast. Yeah, right. Amazingly good. Yep. So I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're done.
Oof, thank God for that. Long live photography, I say.
That's it.
Photography's dead. Long live photography.
There you go. Excellent. All right, mate. Well, you have a good week.
I will. Was it out of lockdown in only 26 more hours?
Nice.
Theoretically, as long as it doesn't all go to pear-shaped tomorrow. 26 hours, and we're allowed to go up to, I think it's 10 kilometres from home after today.
Woohoo.
Woohoo! So,
dust off your passport.
My wife's supposed to be in Queensland all next week for work, and of course she's stuck here, so
yeah, right.
Not allowed to travel. So, anyway, 10 kilometres and allowed to actually be out of the house for more than an hour is kind of good. So,
yeah,
and then more importantly, the kids are back at school.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
Okay, mate. Well, look after yourself. I hope you get your bike back well and sound, and it's all good. And
yep,
it does what it's supposed to do, and the engine bits that got fixed don't fall out as you're driving along fast.
Exactly.
That's important.
Yes. All right, mate. We'll talk to you next week.
Take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You've been listening to Shutters Inc. For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.